In the quiet coastal town of Harborville, four friends embarked on a journey that would change their lives forever. Jenna, Mark, Sarah, and Alex shared an insatiable curiosity for the sea, and it was this very curiosity that led them to an abandoned shipwreck, the SS Mariner's Hope, which had been lost to the depths of the ocean for decades. One warm summer afternoon, while exploring the ship's eerie remains, they stumbled upon a dusty, weathered diary hidden in a forgotten corner of the ship. As they pored over its pages, they realized it belonged to Captain Jonathan Sterling, one of the ill-fated crew members of the Mariner's Hope. The diary's brittle pages revealed a harrowing tale of treacherous storms, ominous encounters, and a sense of unease that seemed to consume the crew as they neared their destination, a powerful artifact known as the Heart of the Abyss. It was said to possess unimaginable power, capable of altering the very fabric of the world. Captain Sterling's entries became increasingly frantic as they recounted the crew's obsession with finding the artifact. Paranoia and fear gripped their hearts, and he hinted at a dark secret, one that connected the ship's sinking to the hidden artifact. The diary also contained cryptic clues, riddles left behind by the crew as they faced their impending doom. Determined to uncover the truth, and intrigued by the idea of harnessing the artifact's power, the friends embarked on a perilous quest. They began deciphering the cryptic clues in the diary, leading them to dive deeper into the wreckage, where they encountered the restless spirits of the crew who had met a watery grave. These spirits, trapped between worlds, offered cryptic guidance, each providing a piece of the puzzle needed to find the heart of the abyss. As the friends unraveled the mystery, they navigated treacherous underwater caverns, braved deadly currents, and faced eerie, ghostly challenges that tested their courage and teamwork. With each obstacle overcome, they drew closer to the artifact, all the while learning more about the dark secret that had consumed the crew. It was a tale of greed, betrayal, and the dangerous allure of power. With each obstacle overcome, they drew closer to the artifact, all the while learning more about the dark secret that had consumed the crew. It was a tale of greed, betrayal, and the dangerous allure of power. Finally, after a series of heart-pounding trials, they reached the heart of the shipwreck, where they found the heart of the abyss, pulsating with an otherworldly energy. But they also discovered the shocking truth behind the ship's sinking, a betrayal that had led to its demise. As they gazed upon the artifact, the friends were left with a choice. Would they use its power for their own gain, or would they heed the lessons learned from the tragic fate of the Mariner's Hope's crew? In the end, they made a decision that would ensure the artifact remained hidden, its dark power never unleashed upon the world again. As the friends stood before the pulsating heart of the abyss, a chilling presence began to envelop them. The air grew icy, and the shipwreck's darkness seemed to close in around them. Unbeknownst to them, their presence had awakened the most malevolent spirit of all, one that harbored deep-seated anger and sought vengeance. Sarah, her eyes glazed over, began to mutter incomprehensible words, her body trembling as if controlled by an unseen force. Her once joyful face contorted into a mask of malevolence, sending shivers down her friends' spines. They realized with horror that Sarah had become possessed by the vengeful ghost of Captain Jonathan Sterling himself. The spirit of Captain Sterling, fueled by centuries of anger and betrayal, had latched onto Sarah's vulnerable soul. His sinister presence began to exert control over her, using her as a vessel to exact his long-awaited revenge. The friends knew they had to act quickly. They sought guidance from the other, less malevolent spirits they had encountered on their journey. These spirits, although troubled in their own right, held knowledge of the ship's history and the rituals required to free Sarah from the vengeful spirit's grip. Armed with the cryptic clues and the guidance of these restless souls, the friends embarked on a desperate quest to save Sarah's soul. Their journey took them deeper into the shipwreck, into the most haunted and forsaken corners of the Mariner's Hope. As they followed the clues and performed the ancient rituals, the malevolent spirit grew increasingly hostile. It unleashed terrifying apparitions, summoned chilling storms within the ship's confined spaces, and distorted reality itself to torment the friends. Each step brought them closer to confronting the spirit, but it also pushed Sarah's body to its limits. She grew weaker, her voice becoming a sinister echo of Captain Sterling's, recounting his tales of betrayal and despair. Finally, in the darkest chamber of the shipwreck, they confronted the vengeful ghost. It materialized before them in a grotesque spectral form, a manifestation of centuries of torment and hatred. It lashed out with supernatural fury, hurling objects and wielding the power of the heart of the abyss. Against them, the friends stood their ground, fighting not only for Sarah's life, but for the redemption of Captain Sterling's tortured soul. With their determination and the knowledge they had gained, they performed the final ritual, forcing the vengeful spirit to confront the consequences of its own actions. In a blinding burst of ethereal energy, the malevolent spirit was vanquished, and Sarah's body fell to the ground unconscious, but free. The shipwreck around them trembled as if sighing with relief, and the heart of the abyss pulsed one last time before falling silent. As the friends caught their breath after banishing the vengeful spirit from Sarah, an eerie silence settled over the shipwreck. They had believed the worst was behind them, but the mariners' hope still held dark secrets, and they were about to face a new, terrifying reality. In their relentless pursuit of the heart of the abyss, they ventured deeper into the ship's bowels, guided by the remnants of Captain Sterling's diary. It was there, in the dimly lit, forgotten corridors, that they stumbled upon an inconspicuous door, almost hidden behind layers of rust and decay. Curiosity led them to push it open, revealing a nightmarish portal crackling with otherworldly energy. The air around the portal was thick with an oppressive darkness, and they could hear the whispers of unholy voices beckoning them forward. Intrigued and fearless, they crossed the threshold and found themselves in a nightmarish realm unlike anything they had ever imagined. The very laws of physics and reality seemed to warp and twist around them as they entered this accursed dimension. Monstrous, nightmarish creatures lurked in the shadows, their eyes gleaming with malevolence. These entities, imprisoned in this forsaken dimension for eternity, had been yearning for a way to escape and wreak havoc upon the world. With a collective gasp, the friends realized that they had unwittingly unleashed these terrifying beings. The creatures, twisted and grotesque, began to converge upon them, driven by a primal hunger for destruction. The friends fought desperately, their courage waning as they faced horrors beyond comprehension. The very air itself seemed to conspire against them, and the walls of this alternate dimension shifted and distorted, creating a terrifying labyrinth that disoriented their senses. The battle raged on, each moment more horrifying than the last, as they fought to seal the portal and prevent the creatures from escaping into their world. They were pushed to their limits, their very sanity tested by the relentless onslaught of the supernatural. With sheer determination and unwavering resolve, they managed to close the portal. Just as the creatures were on the brink of breaking through, the otherworldly dimension began to crumble and fade, pulling the terrifying beings back into its abyssal depths. Exhausted and traumatized, the friends stumbled back through the portal, sealing it behind them. The shipwreck quaked and groaned, as if the very vessel itself had borne witness to the horrors they had just faced. As the friends delved deeper into the ship, the malevolent presence that had plagued them since their encounter with the vengeful spirit began to intensify. The ship itself seemed to come alive, twisting and contorting with malevolence as they moved further into its forsaken depths. Suddenly, their reality warped, and they found themselves ensnared in a nightmarish descent into their own fears and regrets. The ship's haunted corridors became a labyrinth of torment, where each friend faced their darkest demons. Jenna, tormented by guilt over a past betrayal, was confronted by spectral figures of those she had wronged. They whispered accusations and despair into her ears, their ghostly hands reaching out to drag her into an abyss of guilt and self-loathing. Mark, haunted by the loss of a loved one he had failed to protect, found himself reliving that fateful day over and over again. He could do nothing but watch as the tragedy unfolded repeatedly before his eyes, the pain and helplessness driving him to the brink of madness. Sarah, who had been possessed by Captain Sterling's vengeful spirit, experienced relentless nightmares where she relived the captain's own horrors and betrayals. The malevolent spirit's voice echoed in her mind, urging her to embrace the darkness and seek revenge against her friends. Alex, plagued by a secret he had buried deep within himself, faced a doppelganger of his own making. This sinister twin taunted him, forcing him to confront the truth he had tried so hard to avoid. Each friend's descent into their personal nightmare was a harrowing ordeal, pushing them to the brink of despair. The ship itself seemed to feed on their torment, its eerie creaks and groans echoing their fears and regrets. But they soon realized that the only way out was to confront their past mistakes and personal demons head-on. Together, they shared their deepest regrets, confessing their wrongdoings and seeking forgiveness from each other. As they embraced their vulnerability and the weight of their past actions, the malevolent presence that had ensnared them began to weaken. The ship's hallucinatory horrors faded away, and the friends found themselves back in the physical world, standing before the heart of the abyss. Exhausted but bonded by their shared ordeal, they knew they had not only faced the ship's supernatural horrors, but also conquered the darkness within themselves. The shipwreck, seemingly satisfied with their trials, grew still, and the pulsating heart of the abyss ceased its ominous glow. They made their way back to the surface, leaving the cursed shipwreck behind. As the friends returned to the coastal town of Harborville, they couldn't shake the lingering feeling of dread that had seeped into their souls during their harrowing journey into the shipwreck. It became clear that the malevolent spirits and supernatural horrors they had faced were not merely random occurrences. They were tied to a dark curse that had plagued Captain Jonathan Sterling and his ill-fated crew. Their investigation into the curse led them to the town's ancient library, a dusty repository of forgotten knowledge. There, hidden within the pages of long-neglected tomes, they uncovered the chilling history of the SS Mariner's Hope and its ill-fated voyage. The curse had its origins in a sinister pact made by Captain Sterling himself, desperate to secure the voyage's success. In exchange for the power to navigate treacherous waters and the promise of great riches, he had made a blood oath with a malevolent sea deity known as the Abyssal Lord. This oath sealed the fate of the ship and its crew, dooming them to a nightmarish existence for eternity. To break the curse and free the vengeful spirits, the friends had to find a way to lift the curse's burden from Captain Sterling's soul. The ancient text spoke of a ritual that required them to collect a series of relics scattered across the coastal town, each connected to a crew member's tragic fate. As they ventured deeper into the town's secrets, they discovered that the cursed crew's spirits, fueled by centuries of torment and anger, were determined to prevent anyone from breaking the curse. The town's once quaint streets became sinister and shadowy as the vengeful ghosts pursued the friends with relentless malevolence. The relics they sought were hidden in cryptic locations and guarded by grotesque apparitions. Each retrieval was a horrifying ordeal, as they faced spectral apparitions that reenacted the crew's gruesome deaths in gruesome detail. As they collected the relics, the friends uncovered the truth behind the curse's origins and Captain Sterling's tragic betrayal. They realized that the only way to break the curse was to confront the Abyssal Lord, the malevolent sea deity with whom the captain had bargained. In a final, nightmarish showdown, they ventured back to the shipwreck, armed with the relics and the knowledge they had gained. There, in the depths of the ocean, they faced the vengeful spirits and the wrath of the Abyssal Lord himself. The battle was a spectacle of horror and despair, as the deity unleashed the full extent of his dark powers. The friends were pushed to their limits, their very existence hanging in the balance. But through sheer determination, unity, and a newfound understanding of the curse's origins, they managed to confront the Abyssal Lord and break Captain Sterling's blood oath. The curse lifted, and the shipwreck trembled as the vengeful spirits were finally freed from their torment. As they emerged from the shipwreck once more, the town of Harborville seemed to breathe a collective sigh of relief. The malevolent presence that had plagued the coastal town for centuries had finally dissipated. The friends thought they had triumphed over the curse that bound the SS Mariner's Hope and its ill-fated crew. They believed that the vengeful spirits had finally found peace. But they couldn't have been more wrong. As they ventured back into the shipwreck to confirm their victory, an ominous and oppressive atmosphere enveloped them.